Welcome, everybody. The bell is rung. It's time to start. And welcome to our Dressage for Kids Unmounted program, Zoom, our UP program. Um, First of all, as usual, a thank you to the committee who oversees this, Susan Sieber, Carol Baker, who've been part of this for many years, and of course, our executive director, Mary Livernoy. And we appreciate very much the Connecticut Dressage Association who helps to sponsor this, as well as those of you participants who make donations. We appreciate that very, very much. Um, Little business, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat and I'll try to keep an eye on it. Kate has some discount codes, I understand, for some of the products she's talking about. And Mary will send those out in a day or two when she sends out the information about um, uh, this discussion. So we're thrilled to be able to welcome Kate Poulin, who's a Pan American Games gold medalist, has all of her USDF medals, and is a USDF certified instructor. She's based in Hiram, Ohio, where she operates Fairmount Farms. Kate is also a breast cancer survivor whose diagnosis prompted a deeper look into the long-term health effects of everyday products that we use in the barns and training environments. In this presentation, she'll share how to recognize potentially harmful products and practical ways to create a cleaner, healthier barn for both horses and the people who care for them. I heard Kate talk about this in a session this summer and was just absolutely amazed at the research that she's done and what she has found out. So, Kate, let me ask you first, what surprised you most when you started researching the ingredients we use around horses?
I was exposed to just so many toxins that I didn't know, that I didn't know I was being exposed to, and that I had never taken the time to research anything that I was using, at the farm or at my home. But I was really surprised that there are so many great non-toxic companies out there that are already making products for humans and horses, and they work.
That's fantastic. And of course, as I mentioned, and I just want to mention again, because I know you're very open about it, that you have successfully battled breast cancer.
Mhm.
And do you have a sense that possibly these toxins that we're running into in the stable could have been responsible for your breast cancer?
I can't say for 100%
Hmm.
that it was, but my two subtypes of cancer, which were ER positive, is hormone driven. And then the HER2, um, that isn't hormone driven, but there is a lot of research that, some environmental chemicals, particularly those endocrine disruptors, like heavy metals and pesticides, they may influence your tumor growth and behavior. And HER2 is very aggressive and rapid. So it was only smart of me to look into what I was being exposed to in my home and also at the barn. And I did have a genetic test, almost 80 things were tested, and I am negative for all of them. So I can only think that it was environmental.
Mm. So how can you, well, perhaps first you could give us an example of a common product with the PFAS with PFAs in the stable, in the barn.
Yeah, a PFAS, that's like a forever chemical. And that's anything that is water repellent. So all of your turnout sheets, blankets, they're sprayed with a coating. And touching it, or when that's getting hosed off, or it gets rained on, it goes down, into the ground and into your water system. And if you have well water at your farm, eventually it's going to come, it's going to affect your water in your well. But that I don't think that's something that many of us are going to give up. I can't up here in Northeast Ohio not have waterproof sheets and blankets for my horses.
Hmm. How can you tell if a product is actually, as we say, clean versus it's just marketed that way? We can't always trust what they're telling us, I think.
Well, unfortunately, our industry is not regulated, so none of our products have any regulation. Anybody can put whatever they want on a label and they can put whatever they want inside the bottle. So you're going to have some trust that, when you find a non-toxic product that you like and you read the ingredients, you're going to have to just trust them. But what you're looking for on the back of the label are ingredients that sound like something you can pronounce. Like there are so many chemical names. I mean, I can't say them because I just butcher them. But like for instance, in a whitening spray, you could have like witch hazel or aloe vera. Those are all of us know that those things are going to be safe for us. But also you're looking for when you see any scents or oils, you want those to be essential. And that means that it's natural. And anything that is not an essential oil, that is a synthetic. And that means that that is an endocrine disruptor.
So tell us some of the products types of products that you uh, were surprised to find maybe weren't so healthy.
Well, fly spray is my biggest topic because,
Okay.
when I was going through surgery and chemo, I was sitting around and I needed to just give myself a goal and stay focused on something instead of getting into my head. So I started in my home using two apps, the EWG and the Yuka app, to scan products in my house and to just understand what I was being exposed to in my home. And unfortunately, we don't have anything like that for our horse products. So I had to just start reading labels and researching the names, which most of them were chemicals, and understanding that fly spray is, one of the most toxic things that we're exposed to on a daily basis. So, and fly sprays are, I think that they're probably one of the trickiest products for us to change because, you know, we are influenced by three different variables that you can't get away from, and that is one's going to be your environment, the individual horse, and the insects that you're trying to keep away. And a lot of it's just trial and error. I have a whole bunch of different non-toxic fly sprays in the barn and they all work for those particular horses. And two of the fly sprays that I use. The two horses that I use my fly sprays on. One is very sensitive. He is in the past broken out and had like some chemical burns. Um, and so I use the infused equestrian, that Wham Bam, on him, and he does not break out in hives. Um, he tolerates it really well. And then you have the sport horse essentials that I use on my gray horse, and he's also very sensitive. But and it works. So
So you have how many horses do you have in your care?
18.
And I'm guessing most of them are owned by other people.
Yep. Only one is mine.
So how do you work it in your stable? Have you convinced them to change your clients to change what they're using, or is it everybody doing whatever he wants?
No, we last spring when I knew that I wanted to make a policy change, I talked to the owner of our barn and I talked to her about my concerns, and she was totally open to it. That, one of my priorities was just not only for the horses, and for me, but was for my staff. And that I wanted them to have a choice if they wanted to be exposed to these chemicals. Some of these products, like fly spray, have a higher risk of toxicity. And I never want someone to feel like they're obligated and uncomfortable, using these products. So the owner of the barn and I, we wrote an email to everybody and let them know that we wanted them to provide a non-toxic fly spray. And I didn't write it perfectly. I had a lot of questions come back to me. I should have been more clear on what safe and non-toxic was, because about 90% of the questions were about how do I know if my fly spray is toxic? And we talked to them about, we gave them a couple brands to consider, and nobody gave us any pushback.
So you're using all non-toxic fly sprays at this point in your stable?
Everybody in the barn has to provide a non-toxic fly spray. They can use a toxic fly spray themselves if they choose to, but our staff don't have to use it.
So your number one concern really is taking care of yourself and your staff. Is
Yes, yeah,
that fair to
because
say? Sounds
yeah,
like a good plan.
they're the ones that are spraying it the majority of the time. Most of the clients at my barn, they're not turning their horses out. And so 7 days a week, 18 horses, those staff, they're spraying fly spray, or they're putting, fly bomb on. Um, and fly bomb is another one that is also toxic. And last year I hadn't found a good replacement. And there are two that I am recommending today, but I have not have had a chance to use them. That's that Sunshine and Sweat Bug Bomb, and then the other one is Mary's Botanicals Bug Bomb. And I plan on using those two this spring and seeing how their effectiveness works. We have a lot of no-see-ums here in Ohio, and a lot of our horses have to have a bug bomb on, or they get really bit up on their bellies or on their chests or their ears.
Now, just a little aside, you're telling us, and will be continuing to tell us about some specific products. Are you sponsored by these products?
Nope.
So you have no skin in the game, so to speak,
Nope.
as far as selling the products. I just wanted to make that
Right.
clear
Yeah.
to everyone. So, what other things have you discovered that we might be surprised um, have a toxicity level to them?
A really common product that everybody sprays in their horse's tail for detangling, that actually is quite toxic. And so I wanted to change what I was using in my horse's tail so that it could stay super silky. And and I went through a lot of different products, and my particular horse, Rio, he's white, and his hair has always been super brittle. And I have struggled to find something that could match the silkiness of some of the more common toxic detanglers. But the one that I found works the best for my particular horse is the Gilded Paddock Glistening Spray. That's it right there. And it works really well. And I also learned, a couple of the products that I'm recommending today were also, I wanted to use them on my horses because I was actually using some similar things on myself when I was going through chemo. And one of those was a hair oil that I was using on myself, not this particular horse one, but a hair oil in general. So I started using hair oil on my horse Rio, and I've been using this one called Naked, and I I love it. It's amazing. So, and my horse's tail has never looked as beautiful. I mean, it's full and sparkling.
Any other products in general?
Yeah, so I have a lot of Iberian horses, and they're white. I don't know why they're all white, but we live with purple shampoo, and also waterless shampoo is big for us, especially this time of year because we really can't bathe our horses. So I've used a lot of different whitening shampoos, and this one from Sport Horse Essentials works great. And I have all different shades of white horses. I have a rose gray. My horse is white, white. I have dapple grays. I have whites with dark points. So I feel like I really believe in. It truly, really works. And then the other thing that was a little bit difficult for me to find a replacement for was the whitening shampoo. You know, we have a very common whitening shampoo a purple shampoo that everybody probably knows about. And one of the things you're going to be looking for when you're looking at products is do they have any type of dye in them? It's um, and that particular shampoo has purple dye in it, and that's not going to be good for you to get on your skin. So I did try a lot of whitening shampoos, and the one that works best for my horse, Rio, who's super white, is going to be the Gilded Paddock Sparkling um, shampoo. That's it right there. That could be my horse's legs. So, but it's not. Um, and you think about how many horses we bathe a lot of horses, especially white horses, keeping them clean. So your hands, your skin is your biggest organ. And so anything that is getting on your skin is being absorbed into your body. And I think it's really important that we're really mindful about what we're touching.
Now, I know you've also mentioned in the past things that we might be using in the house that I know you mentioned some
Mhm.
that surprised me very, very much.
Do you mean like,
Maybe
Mhm.
human soaps and things, anything like that.
Yep, pretty much. Um, all this before I had cancer, I never thought about any of this. But yeah, all of the stuff that I was using before cancer all had were filled with endocrine disruptors. They were filled with phthalates or PBAs, parabens. Those are all words you're going to be looking for when that's not going to be on your bottle. But what you're going to want to do is use those two apps, the EWG and the Yuka app, to scan your products, scan the barcode. And that EWG app will give you all the information about the chemicals that are in your product, and it'll rate it between an A and an F. And everything from your dish soap, laundry detergent is very toxic. And if you go down the cleaning aisle, you'll see almost everything has a fragrance on it. Lavender, linen, fresh. Who knows what it could be? Those that none of that's good for you. And so the EWG app will give you a recommendation for an alternative product if it doesn't have a good rating.
So just mention these a little bit more about these apps. EWG, is that what tell me about them.
That is the Environmental Working Group app.
Hmm.
Another name for it could be Skin Deep or Healthy Living. And it's green. And then the other one is called Yuka, Yuka.
Hmm.
And that one is more about food. So the EWG one is more about your beauty products and your cleaning products.
Okay. Um, EWG, and so those are apps, they're not websites.
Correct. EWG does have a website.
Okay.
And one of the things that I'm that is any equestrian could change right away is probably your sunscreen. A lot of sunscreens, especially what if anything is in an aerosol can, even like fly sprays for horses in an aerosol can, that's something you're going to want to stay away from. But one of the sunscreens that has an EWG um, certified stamp of approval is called Think Sport. And it's available on Amazon. It gets an A+ rating. It works great for me. I have fair skin and I also have rosacea and I don't break out from it and I don't look like a lobster after a horse show.
Now, if I'm trying to remember, because again, I heard you talk about this summer, um, tack cleaning.
Mhm.
Didn't you talk about some of the problems with tack cleaning equipment?
Yeah, so I use now a tallow-based tack cleaning conditioner, and I just stick to using the glycerin soap, which is not toxic. Just keep it basic. Also, a lot of these brands that we've talked about today, they have some um, tack cleaning products. One of the companies called Hoof and Paw. They have a grooming spray. When we groom our horses, we spray our horses after we do the initial brushing. I use this for cleaning too. I spray this all over the horses. I'll take a rag to them, especially during the winter time when we can't bathe them. This is a really great product for just getting off the dust and the dander. But this is like a finishing product. But this particular company also has a leather conditioner that I use, and it's excellent. I love it. I started using tallow on my skin when I was going through chemo. My doctors wanted me to put Vaseline on my face, and which is petroleum. And we put Vaseline on horses, girth sores or on their mouths, and we just should not be touching that.
Wow.
Hmm.
Um, I also, as I remember, you talked a little bit about clothing.
Yes, that has been a bit of a more of a challenge. So it's more popular in the yoga and the Pilates clothing industry to find clothes that are PFAS or free of PBAs. But right now, I've only have two clothing companies that I have been able to verify are free of those, and one is Free Ride Equestrian, their breeches and all of their shirts. And then the other one that's new to me this year is Reds Wear. And with Reds Wear, they didn't they don't didn't say on their website what their clothing was made out of. So I had to reach out to them and to verify that they were. And I did. So that was super exciting.
So, what are we looking for in clothing? What is it that's not good? And
Polyester.
polyester is basically what you want to stay. And so, in
Mhm.
these two companies that you mentioned, what what are they made of?
I'd have to go back and look.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw maybe nylon. But I can't think, I don't know at the top of my head.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but you think about we're riding, we're sweating,
Hmm.
and when you're generating heat and you have tight fabric on, that's all going to get leached into your body. And you're never going to get to zero exposure, but you just want to reduce the load.
Hmm. So, um, when you started looking into this, and you've mentioned it a little bit of the with the fly sprays, you feel your clients are in with you trying to make everything in your stable as safe as possible. Overall, do you feel that's the case?
Absolutely. I
Or
have. Yes.
go ahead, are some of these products more expensive?
I do think that in general they're more expensive. You're using natural ingredients, and I think that most of these companies that are producing toxic products, they're using those chemicals because they're probably cheaper. Um, but I mean, it's worth it. And
Yeah.
I mean, there are ways that you can make these products yourself at home. I just don't have the time to do that. And I'm happy. There are so many great companies out there. I'm happy to support them and make my life a little easier.
A question has been asked, is it safe to use these products if you are wearing gloves?
Latex gloves. I am a huge advocate for latex gloves now. Last year when I couldn't find a replacement for the fly bomb, there are probably 50% of the barn has to use a fly bomb. I asked them to provide latex gloves on their stalls so that our staff had that option if they wanted to have a barrier on. And now I see a majority of the time our staff are putting latex gloves on for a lot of things, bathing horses, cleaning. I'm using them a lot more handling drugs. I just was talking with my sister this week, and she told me that pergolide is actually a synthetic hormone, and it has a warning on there that you should not touch it without gloves. And I bet you every barn in this country has some one horse on pergolide.
Mm. And was it I'm trying to remember from what you said. Was it Furazone?
Oh, yes, Furazone.
Which,
Who, yeah, yeah, it's called Furazone, but we used to call it, it's yellow and we use it for like
yeah.
sweating horses' legs. And that has a label on it that says right on it, this is a carcinogen known to cause tumors in, mice in labs. And I mean, I grew up in a barn where you just slapped it on with your hand.
Mhm.
Copper tox. I mean, I haven't had to use copper tox in many years, but that was super popular back in the day. And that is very toxic. And that also says on there um, that you should be wearing gloves. And I never did. I'd get that stuff all over my hands.
So again, we have some questions in the chat here. Um, the products, the products that you're concerned about for yourself and for your staff, do you think if they use them, they're putting themselves a little bit in a difficult situation? Do you think that the products are a problem for the horses?
I think that it has to be.
Mhm.
It's if it's negatively impacting our systems, it has to be for them as well. But I also think about our aquifer. Anything you're spraying on your horse and you're washing your horse off, if you have well water, that's just going right back down and, down into the well and back out through the tap.
Mhm. Um, have you noticed, again, another question, have you noticed any differences in your horses in any way from using these different products?
Um, one product in particular I have switched to this year is using different hoof oils. And I would say now about 80 to 90% of the horses in the barn now get a hoof oil, and this has made a huge difference. And, the Hoof and Paw has a great hoof oil. I really love this one, but a lot of these other companies that we've mentioned tonight, they also have Infused Equestrian has a really nice hoof oil, and I've noticed a big difference in my horse's feet. And also, um, another product, it's not in this slideshow, but the Naked brand, the one that I use their regular oil, but they also have a regrowth oil. And three of my horses in the barn use that regrowth oil. And I know it works because we kept track of their manes and we were using it on their manes and their forelocks. And we saw a big difference in the growth of their hair.
Oh, so these are regrowth of hair.
And non-toxic, yep, hair oil.
Is it just for manes and tails, or perhaps, or also if, say, you have a horse with a scar, an injury on
Hmm
its skin, would it
I
be
think,
for
yeah, that's
that?
a really, yeah, good point, London. I've never thought about that, but I think that'd be interesting to use that and to see if it works.
Worth a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. A comment was made. Actually, many people are allergic to latex. There are other
Mhm.
hospital quality gloves that are latex free.
Okay.
Do you know anything about, have you done any research on them?
No, I'm not allergic to latex. Maybe that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank goodness. But I do know some people have latex allergies.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm just, you've answered all my questions very quickly.
Oh,
Um, I remember you talking about, because I remember one thing that surprised me. Am I remembering correctly? Because it was a while ago. About soaps, people soaps.
okay.
Weren't there some people soaps that, I mean, you've mentioned fragrances and so forth. Did
hmm
I make that up, or were you talking about them?
No, I think no. Dishwashing soap, hand soap, a lot of the soaps that you're going to be using on your horses, they're all um, a lot of them have endocrine disruptors in them, and you really want to stay away from synthetic fragrances. You want to stay away from dyes. And you really want to scan your household products to understand what's in them. Right now, in my house, I'd say about 90% of my home, I use a brand called Attitude, and it is an alternative. Um, they do everything from your house, from laundry to shampoos, deodorant, mascara. It's all non-toxic and it's all EWG verified. But this is also a really good option for your horses if you want something that's a little bit more economical. They have a really great moisturizing shampoo and conditioner that you could use on your horse.
Hmm, okay.
hmm
I just had a question went out of my head. What was it?
Well, I
Oh,
wanted
um,
go ahead.
you talk about, and I don't want to put you on the spot because I know you're not a doctor. You talk about endocrine disruptors.
Yes.
Can you explain that a little bit for those who maybe don't quite understand it?
Yeah. An endocrine disruptor is it's a substance that interferes with your body's hormone system. It can mimic or block or alter your natural hormones like estrogen. And my cancer is estrogen based. So I have to be extra careful.
Okay, so these would, yeah, just just change what
Mhm.
is natural in your within your body.
Yeah, you want to just try to stay away from anything that's synthetic. Um, I did want to mention we talked about copper talks a little bit ago. I did have um, an alternative for copper talks, and it's from a company. This was actually one of the first companies that I um, started using, and that's Buzz Bombs. And they're based in Australia, and they have a zinc paste that I use on horses' feet instead of using copper talks. But there are lots of companies out there that do have natural, non-toxic thrush remedies. But this one company in particular, it works great for me. I also have their, um, what's it called? I have it right here with me. Their bit butter. So instead of using Vaseline, I use their bit butter. It's that little canister in green right there on your screen. And it works, and it's just a better alternative than Vaseline.
Oh, do we have any other questions? I've run out of my questions. Um, Fascinating, a little scary, but
Mhm.
um, I think particularly the young people here um, making a change now can make a big difference in your life.
Yeah, I think it's important to just start a conversation. And young riders, they can advocate for safer products, in their barns. They just need to ask for, be curious and not criticize. They could even give real life experiences and say, hey, this fly spray makes me cough. Can I try something different? Maybe their horse has a reaction, skin has a reaction to a product. They could ask if we could try a gentler option. And just to continue to try to be curious and ask questions in your barn.
We have one going back to the blankets that are waterproof. Do you have a brand that you like that might not have as many chemicals?
I don't. Maybe somebody out there um, wants to research that and let me know what they find out, but I don't. And we get so much snow and rain here in Ohio that we really need good waterproof gear.
So, do your staff then wear gloves when they're handling them?
They don't.
They don't.
Nope. But they have an option to wear, latex gloves if they want.
Okay. Um, a, a question about this is slightly, yes. Do you have any thoughts on anything to avoid Roundup? Roundup.
Yeah, we use a vinegar, dish soap, and salt mixture here at our farm, and it works. We make sure that when we spray it, the grass is really dry, and we spray it on heavy, but it definitely works.
Hmm.
And you can find that, the ratio for those three particular chemicals or ingredients online.
Hmm. Is there a reference website for non-toxic animal products similar to the Environmental Working Group or yucca?
There isn't, and I think it would be a great idea for somebody to invent that. I would love to be able to scan my horse products and learn more about them and have a better understanding if what I'm using is safe for me and my equine friends.
Okay, some of you younger people out there, there's a job you can look
Exactly.
to, or maybe some retired person with nothing to do. Uh,
Yeah.
what products are you using for cleaning buckets?
We are using, unfortunately, we're just using dish soap at this point.
Hmm.
But which is another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, which a lot of barns use Pine Sol, and we used to use Pine Sol in our barn, and that gets an F rating from EWG. And so one of your, if you want to change to like Branch Basics or Dr. Broner's suds, those are really good options instead of using Pine Sol. A lot of barns put Pine Sol in like a watering bottle or and they walk around and they sprinkle it so it smells good. But
Yeah.
and we're guilty of that too, but we have stopped doing that.
And what about washing barn laundry?
We use a non-toxic um, laundry soap.
Okay.
hmm Yeah, our barn's not 100% toxic, non-toxic. There are some things that you just can't get away from. Like you got to be uh, smart about it. Sometimes I'm just gonna have to, like cleaning the wash stall walls. Sometimes I just have to use something more powerful to get stains off from it.
Hmm. So, wait, here comes another question. Listerine, safe for treating equine skin condition? Do you happen to know?
I don't. Oh, you know what? I think I was just somebody had Listerine in my barn for cleaning tack,
Oh,
and I don't know why. I think she threw it out, but I'm not
okay.
sure. So,
Here's an interesting one. Pine Sol is great for mice. Any alternatives for keeping mice away? Should be
no,
a
I have no idea. A cat.
cat.
I'm
It's
sorry.
yeah,
But I've never heard that pine sol is good for keeping mice away.
yeah. They
But
don't like
that is,
nice. I don't know.
yeah. We still, I mean, I, um, you're never going to get away from it 100%. So I just say, try your best and do what's right with what works for you in your barn and always keep the horse, is the center. And, yeah.
So Liza, who mentioned the pine sol, she says keeps mice out of an empty cottage over the winter. I guess Liza, you spray it around or something. Um, anyway,
Hmm.
we've learned something new about mice tonight. Um, so I think unless there are more questions, um, and you've covered this somewhat, but how you've done it. But if you've inspired some people to make some changes. Oh, excuse me. Liza says you leave the pine sol in pots all over the house to get rid of the mice.
Okay.
Um, if we've inspired someone to with their own stable or perhaps as an individual in the stable that might want to encourage the stable manager, stable owner, whatever. Um, just if you'd repeat a little bit about how to start the conversation. Hopefully you've inspired some people here that might want to make some changes and
Mhm.
but those who haven't listened to your talk aren't necessarily going to totally understand it.
Hmm. Yeah, you want to start by being curious and not with criticism, ask questions. What is this? Is there a cleaner option? A lot of these barns are, you know, they have a budget. So can I find an option that still works within our budget? And if you can't, maybe you could make your own cleaning products that so you guys could stay within your budget. But I would say, instead of telling somebody what they should use, I would just try to keep, your curiosity doors open and giving people some examples of, if a fly spray makes you cough, because I had that particular problem a couple years ago with a fly spray, and I just we couldn't use it in the barn. I asked them to try something different. If you have your horse reacts to a certain product, maybe they're open to trying something more gentler. Or you could just offer to bring in and try some new things. I've done that in my barn. When I've been trying new products, I've given them to my clients and asked them to check them out. Give me some feedback. And giving them that opportunity to try something is a way to inspire them to um, make a change.
When you're one more question, when you're researching, um, let's say we want a different fly spray because you've mentioned fly spray a lot. You Google, how do you find them?
Yeah, I sat around for 3 months. It was a lot of time sitting and thinking, and I just started doing a Google search and reading and asking questions. All of these companies that I have mentioned tonight, every single one of them, I have spoken to their owner over the past year, asking them questions. They have been open and transparent and wonderful. I um so I hope that by the work that I've done is a good start for everybody here to check these companies out and test some products out. A lot of these companies also have samples that you can get instead of buying a full bottle and just give it a try.
Wait, we have one more question. Okay, something, I'm just reading. I haven't read the whole thing. As you said, Kate, there are many yoga pants that are safe for the winter. I will wear them under my breeches because most winter breeches have waterproofing,
Oh,
provides at least a barrier. Is that a good idea?
I think I'm not an expert, but I think that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, very good.
Yeah, I didn't know that about winter riding breeches.
Um, Thank you, Kate, for starting this conversation. We all need to find alternative products for our horses and barns.
Mhm.
Yes, and I second that. Thank you very, very much. It certainly makes us all stop to think. And I know when I came home after listening to you, uh, I made some changes myself.
Oh, that's so
So
awesome to hear.
um, I hope others will consider the same. So
Oh.
thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone, for listening. And we do have our next session, March the 9th, which will be a panel. The title being Working Better, Not Just Longer, Managing a Workload in the 24/7 Industry. Such a nice, easy industry we all are into here. And we have a super panel, Kelly Burris from Washington, Natalie D. Bernardinis, who has run Hilltop Farm for many years, Amanda Perkowski and Lawrence Breiser, two very successful professionals. So I hope we'll see you all on March the 9th. And again, Katie, you've got lots. I don't know if you can see the chat, but
Mhm.
there's great talk. Kate, thank you so much. Lots of great information. Thank you, Kate. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So lots of thank yous for you.
Aw, you guys can also, all of this is on my website too. I have a page dedicated to this.
And Mary will, am I correct, Mary? You'll be sending out this uh, slides,
Yes, I will send a
whatever they're
recap.
called.
I'll send a recap later in the week.
Yeah. So that you'll all be able to see the various slides that have been put up.
Thank you, London. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you for opening my eyes to things
Mhm.
I did not know existed.
Aw,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
great. Okay. Hope everybody stays warm. Even in Florida, we're cold. So um, uh, good luck with the weather, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, I hope. Good
All
night,
right.
everybody.
Bye.